Hello, YouTube. How's it going? What did you do today? We didn't really do anything, as usual. Worked from home. And then after work, I walked over to the pharmacy to get some medicine, and we watched a bit of hockey before this. We ate dinner, and that's it. Tomorrow I have 2-day training at work, but thankfully it is still virtual and I don't have to actually go somewhere for the training because I would be okay with hybrid work, but I strongly, strongly prefer completely remote work because I like, especially in the winter, I would be okay with hybrid work. My phone was talking to me and it was my own voice. That's not weird at all. Has that ever happened to you? Anyway, I see I have some friends here. Anastasia's here, Neil, and Mr. Ranger Lab. And Lori, I hope you feel better soon. That's tough, but I'm glad you're getting some sleep. Today, we are reacting to part 1 of the video with Carl Deichler, CEO of Body, and Autumn Calabrese talking about the amazing hormone health program called Belle Vitale. If you've been around my channel for a while, I did a video on Belle Vitale not that long ago, maybe several months ago. You can just search it on my channel. It is a one-size-fits-all hormone health program designed for women to help us balance out our hormones. And it's one size fits all because they're not trying to find out what your actual condition is that's causing the hormone imbalance. And they're just telling you, follow the program and your issues will be solved without actually knowing what the issues are. Yes, Carl, exactly. I think it's a C, Mr. Ranger Lab. And I'm not wearing sunglasses in my stream for the first time in a million years. We'll see how long I last. Oh, I did that wrong. The issue is it's hard for me to look at the camera with the brightness of the screen underneath. You know, like if the screen was completely dark, I could just look at the camera and it wouldn't hurt my eyes. That's kind of tricky for me. But we'll see. We'll see if it hurts my eyeballs. This is the video. It was posted 4 days ago on the Body YouTube page. So this is brand new and it was posted after the change that Body made to fully affiliate. Yeah, it's been a while, right? How long has it been? A year and a half since I've been wearing sunglasses on stream. Okay, I'm ready. I have him at 1.25 speed. And we are not watching this whole thing because that would take me forever and I'd be tired. Okay, let's go.
This is about mysterious, lingering problems that you might have no idea where they're coming from. How about unexpected weight gain or difficulty losing weight, hot flashes, night sweats, low energy or fatigue, irregular periods, reduced sex drive, mood swings and irritability, sleep disturbances, brain fog, lack of focus, skin issues, bone loss, muscle loss.
I feel like if you were women. My connection shit. And I'm coughing. What the heck? 1 second, okay? I feel like if we're doing a talk on a hormone health program, we should probably note the main issues that hormonal imbalance could lead to for women, right? And he said so many different things: irregular periods, reduced libido, mood swings. That could be a variety of issues that require specialist attention. It's really, in my opinion, now I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a scientist, I don't know anything about this, but in my opinion, something like our hormones, our bodies, it should not be a one-size-fits-all solution, which they'll claim that Belle Vitale is not, but Autumn is not going into our living rooms. She's not coming into our kitchens telling us what to do for our own bodies. Even if she was, she's not qualified to do so. She's not a dietitian. She's not a doctor. She should not be telling us how to eat to fix our hormone issues.
Are suffering with no clue what it's coming from. And sitting across from me is a super trainer who is one of those women, and you have come up
certified hormone health coach, Institute of Integrative Nutrition. So I'm assuming that is her only up-to-date qualification certification, because if she had other up-to-date qualifications, it would be listed.
with the program that we're so excited to launch, Belle Vitale, the Women's Hormone Health Program. And I want to start this podcast with the toughest question. Okay.
Oh, let's just get it out of the way. What is it?
Well,
and hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here. It's about time, right? If anybody has dealt with lifestyle issues over the course of trying to solve them, being creative, being aggressive, being disciplined, you have, from portion control to putting together programs that helps abs and butt and weight loss with time nutrition, and then the 4-week gut protocol, 4 weeks for everybody. And now you find yourself 2.5
abs and butts and weight loss and time nutrition, because apparently that's going to solve all of our problems. It's not like bodies are really complicated and we could be having a hormonal issue for dozens of different reasons. If you were at this video, if you were at the Belle Vitale stream I did several months ago, I did 5 minutes of research, and not even 2 minutes of research, and found out the 2 dozen, potentially 1 dozen to 2 dozen conditions that could lead to a hormonal balance in women, and many of them requiring different specialists to treat that condition. You are not going to fix your serious health conditions with body. Hi, Monica. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining.
A few years ago, suffering in silence, or maybe noise of your own head, like, how can this possibly be happening to me? So there are millions of people who have gotten results with your programs who are now going to hear you talk about a program that sort of...
Millions of people who have gotten results with Autumn's programs. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Sorry, I'm going to let him talk. It's been less than 1 minute and 45 seconds, and I've paused it 88 times. I'm going to stop, I promise. At least 1 whole minute.
Turns everything upside down in some ways. And we'll go, well, wait a minute. I thought I had the solution. Like, did she trick me all those years? Like, what happened? And how do you answer that with something that called Belle Vitale that is now getting such incredible results for people?
Actually, it's a really easy question, because we're not stagnant. Like, so what worked 10 years ago, it doesn't mean that because I had to come up with Belle Vitale, it doesn't mean that Portion Fix doesn't work or is a bad nutrition program. It doesn't mean that 4-week gut protocol doesn't work or is a bad program. It means that we are forever changing, and I am forever learning. That's the beauty of life, is that we get to be learning and growing always. And this is just the next thing that I had to learn. And I sort of take it as like, I remember when my gut health issues started, there was a time period where when I was going...
It's a really good question, because every time a new Beachbody nutrition program or fitness program comes out, everyone suddenly has that issue that program is trying to address, like hormone health or gut health issues. And that program is touted as the cure-all for everyone's conditions. And it's a good question that you said 4-week gut protocol would fix all of my issues. And now you're saying hormone health, whatever, Belle Vitale is going to fix all my issues. You can't have every single program in an MLM be the one most groundbreaking, life-changing program, or else none of the programs are groundbreaking or life-changing if they're all the same. That didn't make any sense. If everything's groundbreaking, nothing is groundbreaking. Do you know what I mean? Hi, Lisa. It's nice to see you. And she makes a good point. Yes, we're all changing. I've learned, I've grown, but she has not actually, other than this hormone health bullshit thing, which I know nothing about that certification, but she has not, other than that one certification, she has not expanded her knowledge or expanded her learning in a way that qualifies her to be providing this kind of assistance. And she's going to talk about how she was certified to do a certain kind of Pilates training, right? Or teaching. And I think that's great and cool. But did she keep up with that? No, she did not. Why am I getting mad? Yeah, they're going to talk about blood testing in a second. Well, not in a second. I don't know if it's part 1 or part 2 where she's going to talk about that. If she really wants to learn and do this for real, why can't... Yeah. Because remember, she says you don't need to go to school in order to learn, right? Like, she learns more than doctors because she sits at her dining room table with textbooks. And she doesn't need to go to school. She doesn't need to continue to, update her certifications for being a personal trainer, because she is just a lifelong learner. Why do people believe they can just jump in and do stuff without training or education? Exactly. And I have it in my title. I have it in my title. Yes, trigger warning, dieting and weight loss. I should have said that. I'm sorry, but we're only a few minutes in, so I think it's okay. If you don't want to hear about dieting and weight loss, you can skip this video. Hi, Tanya. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining.
Going through the gut health issues, it was like a why me? I am so healthy. I
Yes, it is.
eat all the healthy food. I do the exercise. Like, how am I the one suffering with gut health issues? And then I realized two things. One, I got to learn something that I might not have taken the time to start learning about.
She's so healthy because she eats all the healthy food and does all the workouts, but to have a healthy lifestyle looks different for everybody. I am what a doctor would consider to be a healthy weight for my height and my age and everything, but I don't eat fruits and vegetables with every meal. I eat intentionally and mindfully, and I make sure when I have a snack, when I have some chips, I eat the amount that I want, that I know I'm still going to feel reasonable after, like I'm not going to feel sick, and I go about my day. But I would say I definitely have like junk food daily. I just have a smaller amount. I go out to get takeout or go out for dinner, but I'll do it once a week and not 6 times a week, right? There are ways to be healthy, to live a healthy lifestyle. That's not what Autumn Calabrese wants us to do. I looked up the institute, and in my opinion, seems pretty woo-woo to me. It's that let's start an institute that certifies us who sound professional. That's funny. But this kind of knowledge is not something. Yes, exactly. You feel me. We agree. That's why these professional designations exist, because it's important. It's a big deal to be telling people how to eat to improve their health, right? And it shouldn't just be anyone off the street who's able to do that. Yes, exactly. Because if Autumn Calabrese were to look at my eating, she would call me unhealthy. She would. Because from her definition, I don't look like her. I am not a petite, skinny person. I don't eat vegetables all the time because I don't look or eat like her. I would not be healthy. Nothing wrong with being petite. I just don't like the way the vision of health that Beachbody portrays. If you don't look like Autumn and you don't eat like Autumn, you're not healthy.
Because I was dealing with it, and I got to create something to go help people with that. But I also got to dive deeper into getting to learn myself, my body, and tying together more and more just how intricately related everything is in life. That it's not just the fitness, it's not just the nutrition. For me, a huge reason I have unfortunately continued to have some of my issues, gut health and hormone health, is stress. I don't share everything on social media. I don't feel like the need to just blah my whole life out there. But from childhood on, I grew up in a stressful home. Even though I have been very successful, that comes with its own stress. You named a program for me called Control Freak. I think that says it all. I am a control freak. So there's definitely
a good way to address stress that could help us address our hormonal imbalance. Therapy. We can learn healthy coping mechanisms to address our stress. But no, instead of seeking out, they're going to tell us this later, instead of seeking out a therapist or a dietitian, going to the doctor, instead of going to all those professionals individually, you should go to Autumn for a lower price and still get the same results. However, I think if things cost more through our insurance, say we have insurance, costs a little bit more, it's because it's an actual professional who's providing us one-on-one attention. And they're like to say, oh, well, this person's $200, this person's $500. You're assuming that this person doesn't have insurance. A lot of Americans don't. Unfortunately, insurance is horrendously expensive in the United States, but lots of them do. And if they do have insurance, they're not spending $200 out of pocket every time they see their dietitian. I'm struggling to look at the camera. I need to look at the camera when I'm talking instead of like around the room. Great points, Monica. That's not Monica's comment. Yes, great point. How is she interpreting this scientific information, right? That's what the value of going through a certification, taking exams, being tested for your knowledge. No one is testing her knowledge. We don't know if she actually understands the concepts. I love that. Same, Lisa, same. Same. Yes, great points, Monica. Great points.
a high level of stress that I put on myself in addition to just regular life. So that's a very long answer to say that we should never expect that one thing will be the only thing that we ever need. We should expect to have to grow and evolve and tweak. And I don't have one fitness program. If it was one thing works forever and always and only do that, we would have stopped at 21 Day Fix,
Right.
which is still a phenomenal program. And I still love going back to it. But there's strength training and there's body weight training and there's cardio and there's muscle endurance and there's muscle building. There's all these different ways, and having a balance of all of that is important. So it's the same thing when it comes to our nutrition. It's the same thing when it comes.
We could also just go and walk. We could also hike with our spouse. We could walk our dog. We could just go for runs. We could ride our bike around the neighborhood. In Beachbody, exercise has to be this big, intense, oh, my hands are dry, has to be this big, intense program, right? And you have to want to do a 4-week, 12-week program when just moving your body intentionally is very, very beneficial. And it does not need to look like the way Beachbody wants you to exercise.
When it comes to our stress management, there's always these little tweaks that we make along the way.
So what was it about the problems that you were dealing with that led you to this exploration that the outcome was, oh, hormone imbalances?
So it was interesting because it was probably like a year after the launch of 4-Week Gut Protocol. So I had been on my gut health journey for many years.
Just want to see how fast I have them. 1.25, that's what I wanted, yes.
And was in a really great place with my gut health. And I was feeling really good, really like vibrant and energetic, and the bloat had come off. And I was like, yes, great, I'm in my groove. And I had actually just done a photo shoot for a clothing line I was doing. Felt phenomenal at the photo shoot, loved the way everything looked. And 1 week later, nothing changed nutritionally for me, exercise. We go on the Success Club trip, and I had probably gained in that 1 week 5 pounds. That has never happened to me ever, other than maybe when I was pregnant with Dom. Like I'm very consistent with my routine. So much so that when I went to put those are the clothes I brought. The clothes from.
She gained 5 pounds in 1 week, and that's never happened because she's so consistent with her routine. I don't know about you guys, but this doesn't happen anymore, but during my menstrual cycle, I would gain like 3 to 5 pounds, and it would just go boop, it would just pop up, and then a few days later, it'd go down. And I'm not a scientist. I don't know this for real. I don't actually know this, but I feel like my body changes frequently throughout the month based on where I am in my menstrual cycle. And it doesn't mean that I'm doing things badly. It doesn't mean that I'm not eating mindfully, I'm not eating in moderation, that I'm not exercising. It means that our bodies, in my opinion, in my uneducated, unscientific opinion, that our bodies change. Our weight can fluctuate. Our clothes may fit a little bit differently, may fit differently one day than they have the last week. And that's okay because our bodies change. Our bodies aren't static. Like she said, we're not static people. And it's okay if our body doesn't look exactly the same as it did last week, in my opinion, but I'm not a scientist or a doctor. What do you guys think? Yeah, Autumn can't make money off of us walking in the park. Yes, exactly. Oh, love that. Yeah, that's great. I love that. Good job. And maintenance is the most important part of any diet, to learn how to eat healthy and not go back to bad habits. I eat different now. I have maintained the weight off. Good. That's awesome. Yeah, years and years ago, I lost 50 pounds, and I just exercised and like paid attention to my portion sizes. And yeah, I've kept it off. I've been relatively successful with that, and I'm pretty happy with that. But I did not lose my weight based off of how Carl would want me to lose my weight, right? And there's plenty of different ways for bodies to look. There's plenty of different ways to live a healthier lifestyle and to lose weight if that's what you want to do.
From the photo shoot, or the clothes I brought to wear on stage and teach. And they were so tight. Like I remember being in tears putting them on and just like being like, how am I going to get on this stage? And I know people will look at me, and it's hard because people will look at me and be like, oh, on your worst day, we would love to look like that. But when you're feeling it, yeah, and you know what just happened, and like I was just crying all the time. I was like, for no reason, I'm just crying, the weight gain, like something is not right. And no sooner did I get home from that cruise, I called my doctor and I was like, what is happening? Like something is wrong. I can't function.
Notice that she said she called her doctor. One second. I would like to find hormonal imbalances for women, because we looked this up last time, and I just would like to see if I can find it. If I can find the different conditions that could lead to hormonal imbalance in women. Because it was really good. It showed that, yeah, okay, here's a few. Hypothyroidism, Cushing's syndrome, adult onset growth hormone deficiency. Cushing's syndrome can cause anxiety as well as depression and irritability. What causes hormonal imbalances? It could also be puberty, pregnancy, menopause. Yeah, I'll share the screen. I think this was definitely the one that we looked at. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. My point is, it's incredibly complex, and we should be going to a doctor. Okay? So we already talked about Cushing's syndrome, hypothyroidism, hormone deficiency. A variety of different tumors can cause hormonal imbalance. Adenomas, variety of different adenomas, other growths, damage or injury to an endocrine gland. Oh, so if you have a surgery and you have damage from the surgery, that could cause it. Bacterial illness, if you have radiation therapy, brain or head trauma, autoimmune conditions, all these, you could have type 1 diabetes. And instead of seeking medical attention, you are trying to get help from Autumn Calabrese. Polyglandular symptoms. How are they treated? Will depend on the treatment depends on what's causing it. If you have lower than normal hormone levels, the main treatment is hormone replacement therapy. If you have low thyroid hormone levels, your provider can prescribe synthetic thyroid hormone pills. How do you fix hormonal imbalance? You can have nutritional supplements. Aside from medical treatment, your provider may recommend certain lifestyle changes to help manage a hormonal imbalance, such as managing your stress levels and getting routine exercise. In the last video I did on this, I talked about how there is legitimacy in lifestyle changes to try to regulate your hormone levels. However, those lifestyle changes, look at this, it says your provider may recommend, right? Your doctor, your specialist in the condition that you have, will know what kinds of things you can do to help improve your quality of life, right? And help you regulate your hormones. Autumn Calabrese on the internet is not going to have the expertise to provide that guidance to you. She's not. Okay. Many of these non-qualified people do radical diets that are not sustainable and don't teach you proper maintenance afterwards. Exactly. She does not take into account the individual and what works for them. Yes, one size fits all. One size fits all. Hi, Tanya. Welcome back.
Function like this. Well, the good news was I had just been to my doctor about 4 or 5 weeks earlier. So we had drawn a bunch of blood, saliva, all the things, and we were waiting on the results.
With the 4-week gut protocol and this, she sought professional, qualified medical attention. But when we looked at the Belle Vitale and we're listening to this, there's never a discussion about seek medical attention, go to your doctor while doing this program, because she got medical attention for both of those issues, but she's not encouraging others to do the same. And I think that's sketchy.
And he's like, well, your results just came back, so let's look and see. And he's like, whoa, like you've flattened your cortisol curve. This is off, your estrogen is off, your progesterone is off, your everything was a mess, which is crazy because it's all the stuff we had been working on. And we were on a Zoom and he just looked at me and he's like, Autumn, I can put you, it doesn't matter how many hormone replacement therapies I put you on or how many supplements I give you. If you don't learn to manage this stress, there's only so much that we're going to achieve. So that was a big eye opener for me. I was like 2 months into my Integrative Institute of Nutrition Hormone Health course. So I was starting to learn. And there were just these tiny little things. Like as I was going through the course, it was so much fun for me because I'd be watching the video and I was like, oh my God, that's what's happening. This is me. So I'm like scribbling as fast as I can. Like, okay, this is what's happening here. And oh my gosh, this vitamin is going to relate to this. And oh, if I tweak this, okay. Oh, I understand what I've been doing over here, training too hard, right? Because you're constantly trying to beat your body into submission. Like, I'll just go harder in the gym. I'll just
Right.
go longer,
More stress.
Yeah. And then more stress on your body.
Yeah.
So yeah, I weight gain, hot flashes were crazy. Night sweats were crazy, crying, mood swings obviously come with the crying. My hair was falling out. That was a big one. I actually remember being on the phone with Matt, who works for you, one day. And this was probably like 6 months before I really realized it was hormones. And I was just breaking down to him. Like, they were asking me for something, and I was so stressed out with what I was already doing. And I was like, Matt, I am not well. But I wasn't being funny. I was crying. And I was like, I'm not well. And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm telling you, something's wrong. And I was like, my hair is falling out. Like, I can't stop crying. Poor Matt. He was like, okay, what do we need to do to help you? And I was like, I don't know.
I'm just trying to let her talk because she is, in my opinion, selling us on the fact that we should not be using her program to fix these issues, because if everything was what she's saying is truthful, that sounds horrendous. I don't know if anyone else has experienced a similar thing where you just don't know why you're feeling that way. You feel something off, right? That happened to me where I was just having horrendous mood swings, like debilitating mood swings for no reason, right? It took me a while to make the connection. Oh, thyroid. I should go get my blood work, right? Went to get my blood work. My thyroid levels just dropped. Yeah, dropped a huge amount. Got the proper dosage. And then within like 3 weeks, I was feeling much, much better. And since then, I've been great, right? But she's just selling us on the fact that seek medical attention when you have serious health conditions like this. When your hair is falling out, don't go to Autumn Calabrese for guidance. No, seek medical attention. And I know that's easier said than done. The United States, where the healthcare system, no offense, is messed up, expensive, inaccessible for a lot of people. If you can afford it, take the money that you're putting towards this Belle Vitale program and go see a doctor. Go see a doctor. So a program is not affected by Body becoming an affiliate. I don't know who will buy this program if it's not the coaches. What do you guys think about that? Good question.
Oh, geez.
But those are the things, like, you don't even realize, like, you're freaking out and you don't even know why. Hormonal imbalance.
So how does it go from that diagnosis, hormonal imbalances, which your doctor is pointing at your stress, but for you, and you go through the certifications, how does it go from that? You could have created a stress reduction program. You could have just gone to breath work. How does that turn into a full lifestyle program and a couple of supplements? Like, how do you go from here to there?
Well, as I'm going through my IIN hormone health course, right? That's a 7-month intensive course. I'm reading books at the same time by different doctors. So I'm taking the knowledge that I'm getting from all these different places. And I had already been working with my doctor for several years on gut health. Everything's related in your body. So you can't assume that, like, okay, well, gut health only affects gut health, and hormones are only hormones, and like, everything's interconnected in our body. So I've already learned a lot about gut health and how that affects everything. And I'm going through the course and I'm learning, okay, these nutrients are affecting hormones. Okay, cortisol is affecting that. Obviously, I'm 20 plus years in the health and wellness industry. So I understand that the type of exercise you do can cause massive cortisol spikes. I understand that stress, both physical, mental, emotional, all of that plays a role. So you can't just look at, okay, I got to adjust the fitness because that's causing stress. Nutrition can cause stress on your body too. If you're eating foods that you have a sensitivity to, that's stress on your body. It's inflammation on your body. I actually shared a story. Dom and I went to Italy this summer.
Do you guys remember the 4-week gut protocol where it was literally an elimination diet where you were supposed to try different foods and then eliminate them from your diet to see how your body reacted to try to determine whether or not you have food sensitivities? But then a 2-minute Google search. Let's just look. Elimination diet. So I think it's either a dietitian or doctor can help you with an elimination diet, but it's supposed to be, you're supposed to do it one-on-one with the qualified medical professional who provides you with a personalized, customized plan to get you through your elimination diet to see what foods you're actually allergic or intolerant to, right? But of course, in Beachbody, something that's supposed to be a one-on-one environment or relationship, it's turned into a cookie cutter, like Monica said, cookie cutter, one size fits all approach. Hormonal health, I sought support from my family doctor who referred me out to get a, sorry, I can't speak. what's it called, ultrasound of my throat, and then I went to an endocrinologist, and then I went to a surgeon, and I was just referred around to different specialists who actually know what they're talking about in the area that I was having trouble in. Now, I'm going to acknowledge this again. If I was not in Canada and I had to pay, and I didn't have insurance, and I had to pay for every single specialist, every single surgeon that I saw, it would cost a lot of money and it would not be accessible to me at that point in my life. I would not have had the money to get that medical care. So I keep saying seek medical attention, but I know it's not that easy for a lot of people. Yeah, it's like she's never heard of menopause. I feel like I'm not verbalizing myself well. Yeah. How does she do that? Great question. Studies are always being conducted. She may not be aware that what she's reading is not factual yet. And how often is she seeking out new studies, right? Because the whole purpose of you having to recertify as a personal trainer is that new literature comes out, new science comes out that you have to be aware of, right? And her just not recertifying as a personal trainer means her knowledge is outdated. Her workouts are outdated.
And I made the conscious choice that while I'm in Italy, I'm just enjoying. Like usually when I'm in Europe, it's a little easier for me to eat even the gluten or the dairy or the sugar.
Pretty clean.
It's pretty clean. And I was like, okay, I know these are things that probably shouldn't do a lot of, but we're here, we're gonna have fun. And I did. And I didn't feel anything. Like I didn't have the gas or the bloating or weight gain or anything like that. But what was interesting was I wear an Oura ring. It's like one of my biohacking tricks. And it tracks your stress. Like that's one reading that it will give you. And I remember looking at my app every day and I was like, this is crazy. My stress level is off the charts right now. Like the whole day, my stress would be up, up, up. And I was like, I'm so relaxed. Like Dom and I are having the best time. I'm not checking work emails. Like I feel great. Why am I so stressed? And I was like, I'm eating, even though it's cleaner there, gluten, dairy, sugar.
Stress from the inside.
Stress from the inside.
Is gluten, dairy, and sugar cleaner in Europe? And also, I can't stand yeah, she wears a mood ring, Anastasia. What do you guys think about the demonization of entire food groups? I understand if you have an allergy, if you have celiac disease, you're lactose intolerant, you should not be eating those things because it's going to hurt you. Like you could have bad negative reactions to it, but gluten, dairy, sugar, that's not inherently bad for your body. And I really don't like that in Beachbody nutrition programs, they often encourage you to just completely eliminate whole ass food groups. And then they'll say that it's a lifestyle, it's not a restrictive diet, and you'll be able to do it long term. Well, I'm sorry. I want milk. I want cheese. I want crackers. I'm not going to completely eliminate gluten unless I have an allergy. I googled gut health and Google came up with here are some ways to improve gut health. Manage stress can make it harder. Stress can make it harder to digest food well. Try healthy ways to reduce stress like relaxation, breathing, mindfulness, and exercise. Yeah. And that is based off of the thing that we quickly just looked at, that is valid and legitimate advice. But it says your provider can recommend ways for you to improve certain parts of your lifestyle so you can manage your hormone levels. Autumn Calabrese is not a professional who is qualified to be able to make those recommendations. If she had any actual medicine training, she'd realize that people like my son who has celiac and type 1 diabetes, that diet would literally kill him. Yeah, exactly. And what do you guys think about gluten in Europe being cleaner? Is that a thing? I've never heard that before in my life.
Yeah. So it's all of these things coming together. You can't just fix one thing and think that you're going to fix hormones. Yeah. You're not going to take a magic pill. You're not going to do one style of workout. You're not going to only adjust the nutrition. If you don't attack it from all the way around as a lifestyle, you might get a little relief for a little bit, but you're not going to actually work to rebalance things, to rebalance those hormones.
Well, it's interesting, even around the company, like, we talk about all those symptoms, all those things to be suffering from, and particularly hot flashes, night sweats, which when we would say to people around the company, we're going to develop this hormone balancing program, and people would go, oh, for perimenopause.
Oh, she may mean less processed? Okay, I didn't understand that. But just the demonization of whole food groups makes me mad. Makes me mad.
and menopause and to balance estrogen and manage the sex hormones. Like, no, that's not what it's about. Oh, are we getting into hormone replacement therapy? No. This is something for any age. This is something for anybody who's suffering from these things and doesn't understand how these lifestyle choices or these things work together.
But how do we know what we're suffering from if we don't go to a doctor, right? Because in our 2 minutes of research, we saw several different cancers, several different types of tumors, adenomas, different growths, different like thyroid conditions, type 1 diabetes can lead to hormonal imbalance. If we don't know what we're suffering from, there's no way that we can properly, fully address it. This is doctor's realm. A doctor can help you figure out whether or not you have type 1 diabetes. Autumn Calabrese cannot, and it just stresses me out thinking that someone who maybe has type 1 diabetes but doesn't know it yet and is having hormonal imbalance or hormonal struggles because of that, instead of seeking out medical attention, I hope no one is going to Autumn instead and seeing this, hearing her talk about how this can help anybody ever, and they just do this instead of going to a doctor, right? Because I talked about how I was moved around to a bunch of different specialists and surgeons. In the United States, if you don't have insurance, you might not be able to afford being moved around to all those places. And you might think, well, this program for $299 is much cheaper and I will get the same result. It's dangerous. Because she's not thinking about that, I bet it's not even occurred to her that her inexperience and lack of education can kill someone. Exactly. I lasted pretty long, but my eyes hurt. The brightness of the screen is bothering me. Sorry, friends. But it was nice to have my eyes visible on the computer for a bit. That's better. I haven't been wearing my glasses that much recently, my sunglasses. I'm less sensitive to bright lights now. Just in here, it's hard to look at the camera while this bright light, the bright screen is beneath me. And then also in the spring and like the summer, when the window's open and it's also bright, and then I have to look at the camera and then the screen below me is bright. You know what I mean? I'm blabbing. She's not a specialist, so those things don't occur to her. She's playing with fire and she'll get burned. Exactly. Yay! Thank you. I like them. Thank you, Monica.
Are creating these consequences. What was the reaction? You put a test group together of a little over 40 people, women of all ages?
20s through 60s.
Thanks, Lisa. That's so nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And was it something that worked for everybody, or was it just for the people who were in perimenopause, menopause?
No, it worked for everybody. Literally we had, I think, 47 women go through the program, like I said, from 20s to 60s. I was very, very adamant, you know this, that I did not want a perimenopause, menopause program. While this helps women in perimenopause and menopause, I'm watching too many women in their 20s and 30s suffer from all these issues that are medically noted to be from hormonal imbalances. And it's like, have we been suffering like this forever? I don't think we have. Like, this feels like it's a newer problem. So I really wanted to make it something that every woman.
Apparently it's a newer problem. Apparently all those conditions that we just looked at that could lead to hormonal imbalances in women, because I looked up hormonal imbalance in women. Apparently all those conditions are new. Did you know that? Did you know that Autumn Calabrese has discovered, I'm saying this facetiously, I don't actually mean this, but she's discovered hormonal imbalances in women. Isn't that brilliant? And apparently her program, not a one-size-fits-all approach, but apparently works for women from age 20 to age 60. Apparently it just works for everybody. Oh my God. Sorry, I am doing MedPass right now, and no, I'm not qualified, but gotta do what I am told. Yeah, see, Autumn, I can admit when I'm not qualified. Exactly. I'm sorry, what's MedPass? Is that a university college program? Probably some kind of medical education, right? But yes, good point. And agreed, Anastasia, agreed.
And felt that they could do and use and benefit from. And then obviously so I write the program, then we've got to say, okay, does it in fact do that?
Right.
And it did. Every single woman that was in my test group lost weight, had an improvement in their symptoms. And the symptoms were a laundry list for each person, a mix of a lot of the things you said. We ran the blood work before they started, midway through, and at the end of the program, both blood work and saliva. So we know absolutely what improved. And it was different for everybody. Some people, like their cortisol levels improved, balanced out. Some people we saw sex hormones improve. We saw people's insulin and glucose levels lower, balance out. It depends on.
Isn't it interesting how the first thing she says, out of all these women, they've all lost weight? Because that is the one thing that every female cares about, apparently. If you're within Beachbody, you follow the Autumn Calabrese vision of a healthy person, and you have to lose weight, apparently. When I was having my issues that were fixed with my proper synthroid dosage, I don't give a fuck about weight. I just didn't want to be having mood swings that lasted for 2 weeks at a time, right? I just wanted to feel decent. That was all I cared about. And I was thrilled when 2 weeks after I changed my dosage, I started to feel decent. It was great. It was a burden being lifted, right? And Mr. Ranger Lab, I don't know if they're still here, if they're on dog duty, but they were saying earlier, okay, you're saying our hormones are going to be balanced based off of what testing. So apparently they're doing blood work before, during, and after. Who is reading the results of this blood work? And I also have a question: what kind of medical professionals are stamping their names on this kind of program where it's a non-medical professional providing potentially dangerous medical advice? Like, what kind of doctor is doing this? What kind of a doctor is doing this? Mr. Ranger Lab, did you hear what Autumn was saying about the testing of the blood samples? If not, tell me and I'll repeat it. Oh, it makes me mad. Oh, okay, got you. Cool. Yeah, and you're going through training for something very specific, and you know when you are not qualified to be doing something, right? You know that, and you're going to seek help, seek assistance when you are in a situation that you are not qualified to take on. That was not well said. Sorry, not well said at all. So you were talking about how do they know we're balancing our hormones without testing our blood? And Autumn was telling us how they do blood tests before, during, and after. And I was just wondering who is reading these blood tests, who's reading the results of the blood tests, and also what kind of medical professional would stamp their name on a program like this. Yeah, what doctor would connect themselves to this? Exactly, Anastasia, exactly. Yep, Tanya, yep.
On where you start.
With type 1 diabetes, the immune system will attack the pancreas and the organ creates beta cells that work the carbs you ingest. Interesting. Thank you for that. I don't know anything about that. Thank you.
As to what changes you might see in those labs. But overall, all of those symptoms improved. Some of the things that I found to be the most shocking were the fact that, we know once you're in perimenopause and menopause, there's only so much that you can impact with the sex hormones. But it was interesting when we were interviewing one doctor, as we were bringing on experts, I was speaking with her, and she was like, well, you can't really do much with perimenopause and menopause. It can't really influence the hormones at all. And in my mind, and no disrespect to doctors at all, but I was like, I disagree. I know I'm not the doctor, but I also know, I'm not saying that we're going to bring somebody out of menopause. That's not a possibility.
Right.
But I believe that we can improve things, even a little bit.
Sure.
And we saw that. We saw that in women that were already.
I don't think the doctor was saying, oh, there's no point in helping women live a better quality of life who are in perimenopause or menopause. I don't think they were saying that. I think they literally, based off of my me not being there, I think they just meant you can't reverse menopause, which you can't, but there are things we can do by going to a doctor and seeking support from a qualified medical professional that could make our life a little bit more enjoyable when we're going through that transition. I had to learn and fast because type 1 diabetics experience I'm not sure what that is. Oh, and that can be deadly. Wow. Ketoacidosis. Wow. Thank you for that. No matter how many books or research she does, she's still ignorant and does not qualify to create any program. I've seen Brianna Jewell's YouTube videos talking about Calabrese. Yes! Yeah, she's so smart. I like her a lot.
Already in perimenopause and menopause, we saw sex hormone levels balance out and improve. To see that improvement happen, that's a big deal.
Well, you were careful about the experts that you surrounded yourself with. Like, you interviewed a bunch of people and ended up with this group who have a specialty in this and really are, which is what I subscribe to, more what they call, I guess, naturopathic, where you look at the relationship of nature and environment and lifestyle and its effect on your overall well-being, likelihood of getting sick and all that. So I wonder, why do you think so?
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. My screen just went black. Okay, Tanya, no worries. Just gonna wait a second. That was weird. They're about to delegitimize Western medicine because, you know, your program is so valid and so interesting. Not so interesting, it's so valid and life-changing and groundbreaking that in order to make it seem legitimate, you have to talk down a whole way of practicing medicine. Yeah. She interviewed people until she found people who subscribed to her way of thinking and also Carl's way of thinking. Can't talk. Man. Sorry, friends. I feel like my commentary started off good and it's just been going downhill.
So blasé about these various relationships that you go to a doctor, you go to an urgent care type of place, and you walk in there, in general, you're going to walk out with some prescription, and there's no questions about lifestyle and why do you think medicine in general blows off lifestyle?
Well,
how do you know? What research have you done on this? And of course, if you go to urgent care or the emergency room, those doctors have to try to figure out really quickly what they think could be wrong with you, do certain kinds of tests, and then maybe refer you out to a specialist who's qualified to treat what they think you might have. Urgent care doctor is not going to have the time to form a really strong relationship with you as the patient. And that doesn't mean that they don't care about lifestyle. They don't care about encouraging you to eat healthy and exercise. It just means that because of the confines of their work environment, they don't have the capacity to do so. And I'm sure there are doctors who don't care about lifestyle and who will just focus on giving you prescriptions, which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But there are doctors, I know this because of the experiences of my family members, myself, there are doctors that care about lifestyle, that care about healthy eating, and that will teach you how to do that properly so you can address your health conditions, right? What research is Carl Deichler basing this off of? His own personal experience with a few doctors who have been, blowing off lifestyle factors of illness, of sickness, or is it actually from scientific journals? My guess is it's just a narrative that they're pushing, that they're trying to make seem more legitimate to support their finding, to support their program. Yeah, same. I'm sure there are doctors who don't care about it, who are just lazy and want to get people out of their office, but there are other doctors who care and who will take the time to explain things to you. And why are we demonizing medication? Any kind of medication, we shouldn't be doing that. Nothing wrong with needing medication to regulate your hormones, to feel mentally healthy. Nothing wrong with that. I can't stand it when MLMs will delegitimize it, will demonize it.
It's functional medicine is what we're working with, and that's getting the body to function at optimal levels. That's really what we're going for. And I think both Dr. Cole and James Lavelle both said it in their videos and in their interviews, which is just that this is not what they're taught in medical school. They've got to go search that teaching out in other aspects. I think, again, it's no disrespect to doctors or Western medicine, and it definitely has its place. It's not one or the other. It's this and that. But from everything I've heard doctors say, it's a lot of them just aren't trained in it.
Yeah.
They're not given the nutrition courses. They're not given the lifestyle fitness. They're given this pill works for this symptom.
Yeah. And that's sometimes, I think that's where the breakthrough.
No disrespect to doctors, but you fucking suck because you just throw pills at your patients. You don't actually care about their well-being. You don't care that that people could be eating better and that could impact their quality of life living with a certain condition, right? And yeah, they're saying more holistic medicine. I think they're assuming that it's either, this is me saying this without any medical knowledge, there's either Western medicine, right, with just you are handed a pill and you're sent on your way, or there's holistic medicine, which is nothing to do with medicine or pills, and it's all focused on lifestyle and eating healthy and moving your body, right? That there's nothing in between. There can't be a doctor that combines the power of modern medicine with the power of improving your lifestyle. I keep wanting to say life cycle. It's just black and white. Does that make sense? Was that a weird point to make?
Come from. You get a person who is not taught in it, meaning.
Yeah, exactly. When a doctor who doesn't know a certain aspect, right? When a doctor, you hear that they hear you're having certain issues that could be tied to diet. They're not experts in food. They're going to refer you out to said expert. My family doctor that found my massive, rapidly expanding thyroid, they did not treat my issues with my thyroid because they're not an expert in that. They referred me out to said expert.
So you don't know what rule you're breaking or what conventional wisdom subscribes to. And you're like, you take this, you learn this, and you put it together. And that's where a breakthrough comes from. And then all of a sudden that becomes conventional wisdom, which I think is possible for Belle Vitale to teach people that in 12 weeks, you really can have these kind of breakthroughs, which back to the test group, if we can. Again, 12-week program, and you can talk a little bit about how the nutrition works. That's fine, or people can look at it at bellevitale.com. But I'm really curious, because it's work, and for some can be intimidating, this kind of overhaul. What's the first week like? Like, what can people expect, or the first month? How fast can they start to see improvements and start to feel like this is working, this is worth it?
Again, I think it depends on everybody's individual sort of start point, because people are going to be at different places on their journey. But what was really interesting with the test group, and this was even very surprising to me, in week 1, so obviously our test group was body partners, and a lot of them, people I'm friendly with or friends with, close with, have been following one of my nutrition programs, Portion Fix, 4-week gut protocol, or even following 2B Mindset.
So she's just saying everyone in the test group are body partners and they're all her friends. They're all people who've been through all of her programs before, her nutrition programs before, and who are very, very high up in the pyramid. And isn't it interesting that they were following all of her nutrition programs, all of her fitness programs, and yet they're still having serious hormone health issues, right? Because everything that Autumn does is touted as the one answer to all of your health problems. If they're doing all of the one answer to our health problems, why are they having so many hormonal health issues if they're already eating clean and they're already exercising in the way that Autumn wants us to? Exactly, because a cardiologist is specialized in a specific field, and they're not a food expert.
At one of our other nutrition programs. So they had already been putting in work on nutrition. So I tell people in week 1, I don't make that big of a change to your nutrition if you've already been doing one of my programs. So yes, you're starting the fitness 5 days a week. The workouts are between 30 minutes to an hour.
5 days a week, 30 minutes to an hour. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that. I would hate having to work out for an hour. And of course, I don't know, we're only going to watch 3.5 more minutes of this. And it's actually less because it's quicker. But she tells us, with part 1 or part 2, that you can't just pick and choose aspects of her program. You need to do it all at once. What if I don't want to work out for an hour? What if I go to personal training 1 day a week and I want to work out for 3 days other than going to the gym? Can I do that? Can I tweak things a little bit to meet my lifestyle needs? Probably not, because Autumn is going to shame us.
But again, we've got Pilates in there quite a bit, some strength training. You only get cardio 1 day a week, and it's 3 of the 4 weeks of each phase. So you don't even have cardio every single week. The amount of weight that people were dropping in week 1 was shocking.
Why do you think that was?
I think it's the combination of all of it, because you got to understand, when you're having these kind of symptoms and you're having the hot flashes, like if you've never had a hot flash, nobody understands it. I know I didn't. Like, people could explain it, and I was like, man, women and their fans, and like, how bad can it be?
Right.
Up until I was like, somebody lit a fire inside of me. I'm cooking from the inside out, and the sweat is pouring off of you, and you're just like, what is happening? So you're pretty desperate to want to feel better.
We're desperate to want to feel better. That's a great point, Autumn. So the people who are desperate to want to feel better, who may not have the financial resources required to seek the help of an actual medical professional, that person who's desperate for an answer, they're going to seek you out instead. So I'd love that you're telling us you are targeting those who are desperate for an answer, people who don't know what's going on in their bodies, who just want to feel better. When I was having my hormonal issues directly connected to my TSH levels, if I'd gone to Autumn Calabrese, nothing would have been fucking fixed. The moment I was on the right dosage of medication, my issues were fixed. Now, later on, it might happen again, right? Because my levels have gone woo, woo, woo. It's gone up and down, right? It may happen again. And I know the first thing to do is go get my blood work and see if my hormone levels are off. And then if they're not off, I will go back to my doctor and I'll say, please refer me out to a hormone specialist of some sort, right? That's how I would do it. I would not seek out support from Autumn. I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. Yes, Monica, she knows how to exploit that desperation. Exactly.
So yeah, you get the program, you're very excited to go in and start doing it. Okay, great. Here's week 1. We're taking this 1 week at a time. So yes, here's the things that we're going to do. Here's what we're adding in. Here's a couple things we're taking out. Here's the fitness. Here's the 2 supplements that myself and the team came up with, which I think are phenomenal additions to the program. And the stress management. Like, I'm very specific with people. Like, the stress management is not a buffet. The program is not a buffet. It's not a take what you want from the program. The way the program works is to implement everything I've given you, from the nutrition to the fitness to the supplements.
Sorry, I'll let her finish.
To the stress management breath work. The breath work does not, like, I could literally, while you're asking me a question, I could be doing a breathing exercise.
Isn't that funny? I was just talking about that and saying I didn't know when she was going to bring that up. We can't adapt a program to meet our needs. No, if we don't do the entire thing the way it was written, she is going to shame us and tell us that we're not serious about making a change. So I feel like this side of my bangs is not as long as the other side. Because I haven't been straightening my bangs lately. I'm just letting them flop around. And sometimes like one side is curly or one side's fluffy. I'm trying to embrace it, but looking at myself in the camera, I feel like I noticed the length difference. We've been on every color of Synthroid. Yeah, I was 125, 150, 175, 150, 175, 200. And I kind of just like 125 was right after my surgery. And then I had to keep slowly moving up. And then I went up slightly. And then it just was way too much. And then I had to go back down. Yeah, it's exercise, nutrition, and then stress management is part of her program. We're almost done.
To keep my nervous system calm. And I think all of that combined, and that's what it is, it's all of it combined, really just kickstart stuff. And people will see when they do Belle Vitale, the first month of nutrition changes week by week in phase 1. And there's a reason for it. There's some goals that we're working on. I'm not going to say what they are. That's in the program. It'll come out as the program comes out. But there's some main goals of phase 1 and some things that we need to rebalance before we can then move on to the other phases. So that's why the nutrition is getting tweaked week by week in the first phase. And it also makes it, I feel like, a little bit easier for people to stick with, because they're like, great, I'm just looking, okay, this week is this. And then the next 2 weeks, oh, okay, this is this, got it. And then the final week, and before you know it, phase 1 is over. They're feeling fantastic already. They've already seen some big improvements. And getting that small win in week 1. What I don't want to do is give false hope.
Okay, I'm trying to find a good spot to stop. I'm going to take myself off the camera because my connection's bad. I'm just going to take a picture of where we are in the video so I don't forget. I was going to stop at 23 minutes, but I feel like 22:12 is fine. I have stuff to say. So she's telling us about how everyone is going to have the experience. See, this side of my bangs are like fluffier than this side. And I'm like, they're not the same length. She's talking about the kinds of wins that people can see in week 1 and week 2. And I think it insinuates if you don't have that exact experience, if you're not seeing relatively quick results with your weight loss or your hormonal imbalance, then you are not doing it right. And there's something wrong. You are like deficient in some manner, and it's not acknowledging that everyone's experience with exercise is different. Everyone has different physiologies. Everyone's going to react to things in a slightly different way, and it's not a one size fits all program, and it's also not like one result for everybody. No, it's not the same result for everyone program. That was not well said at all. Yes. What if someone has physical limitations and can't exercise for an hour 5 times a week? Yes. Why can't we just say walk outside? Oh, it's winter now? Walk around your house, walk in place. Walk up and down your stairs if you can. Right? Do you have some dumbbells? Do you want to do some weights? Okay, do some weights. Look up at beginner programs, beginner workouts on YouTube, and do some weights in your living room. Why does it need to be this big, complex program? Exactly. Exactly. Does it teach you how to eat properly without portion size veggies, fruits? So many questions. How to maintain, how to exercise. I have questions. Great questions. Do any of Autumn Calabrese's programs teach us what to do when the program is done? No, in my opinion, they do not. So I feel like a lot of people would go through this program, would see quick, easy results, and then when they're done and they're going back to how they would usually eat, because in my opinion, Autumn's programs are not sustainable. They go back to how they'd usually eat, and then they see the weight coming back on. So that's all we have for today. We got through a lot, and it's only been an hour. I think we did a really good job. Lots of interesting discussions about Autumn's view of health, Autumn's view of diet, of body image. We learned a lot. And I'm excited to watch the next 24 minutes, 23 minutes of this video. I don't know when it's going to be. Maybe Wednesday if I feel like streaming. If not, it will be Monday. Thank you guys so much for joining. I really appreciate that all these people were watching me. Thank you for your comments and the good conversation. And I hope you have a good night. And I will see you all next time. Bye.